Imagine a nation of over 100 million people, a place where football isn't just a sport, it's life, it's identity, it's everything. A country overflowing with talent, players who have conquered Europe, scored unforgettable goals, built incredible careers, and yet, for 52 years, they've been missing from the biggest stage in football. That's the World Cup. One appearance in 1974, and since then, nothing. Just pain, just near misses, just a cure that refuses to break. But now, the story might finally change. Hi, this is Fernando alongside FTG, from nothing to glory, sharing powerful underdog football stories. And today, I'm going to go through and show you the nation that would do anything for a World Cup ticket. To understand this story, you have to go back to 1974, back to a different name, Zaire, a nation under the rule of Mobutu Sese Seko, a dictator who saw football not as a game, but as power, as image, as control, and at that moment in time, Zaire had something special. They were the kings of Africa, fresh off winning the African Cup of Nations, full of confidence, full of belief, and ready to make history. They became the first sub-Saharan African team to qualify for the World Cup. It was a moment of pride, not just for Zaire, but for the entire continent. Mobutu celebrated them as heroes, gave them houses, cars, status. They were symbols of a nation rising. But behind the celebration, something darker was building. Because their dream didn't last, after their opening match, their respectable 2-0 loss to Scotland, the players expected support and encouragement. Instead, they received betrayal. The money they had been promised was gone. Bonuses, appearance fees, and everything taken away in just one moment. Everything changed. This wasn't just football anymore, this was survival. The players reacted. They threatened to boycott their next game. It was a bold stand, a united protest. But they weren't dealing with a normal system, they were dealing with power. Pressure came from everywhere. FIFA officials desperate to avoid embarrassment, and even worse, direct threats from Mobutu's guards. They had no choice. They stepped onto the pitch, but mentally, they were broken. What followed was one of the most darkest moments in World Cup history. A 9-0 defeat to Yugoslavia. It was humiliation, collapse, and fear. Then came Brazil, the world champions. And one moment that the world misunderstood for decades. A free kick, a wall lined up, and suddenly, Mwepu Lunga runs forward, kicks the ball away. Chaos, confusion, and even laughter. The world thought it was ignorance, a mistake or a joke, but it wasn't. It was fear. It was protest, and it was survival. He was trying to get booked to delay the game, to avoid another disaster, because the players believed if they lost badly again, there would be consequences waiting for them back home. This wasn't football. This was trauma. And when they left the tournament, they didn't just leave the defeats, they left the scars. Scars that would haunt the nation for decades. And those scars, they never really disappeared. What followed was 50 years of frustration. Generation after generation failed to return. And the most painful part, the talent was always there. In the 1990s and the 2000s, DR Congo produced stars, real stars, players who shined in Europe, who dominated leagues and built reputations. Shabani Nonda, a deadly striker, a goal machine in France. Lomana LuaLua, explosive, unpredictable, a fan favourite in England. These players had everything: skill, experience and confidence. But as a team, something was always missing. Campaign after campaign ended in the same way. Close, but not enough. Hope, then heartbreak, again and again. And the reason? It wasn't just football, it was everything around it. Instability, mismanagement, broken systems, players not paid, travel chaos, internal conflict. A team full of talent, trapped in dysfunction. It became a pattern, and it was a painful one. No matter how good the players were, the system always pulled them back, and the curse only grew stronger. But then something changed. It was a different approach, a new direction. In 2022, a decision was made. Sébastien Desabre was appointed not as a superstar name, not as a flashy coach, but something more important. A builder, a strategist, a man who understood African football. He brought structure and discipline, and also clarity. For the first time in years, there was a plan, and then opportunity arrived. The 2026 World Cup expanded. More teams, more spotlights, and more chances for Africa. 9 direct qualification places, no complicated routes, no second chances, just one goal. Win your group and you're in. Simple, clear, and achievable. DR Congo found themselves in a tough group. Senegal, the giants, the favourites. But this time, something felt different. The team looked organised, focused and resilient, led by players like Yoane Wissa, dynamic, versatile and dangerous. Then you have Cédric Bakambu, the proven goal scorer, clinical and reliable. They started building momentum, results began to come, and suddenly, after decades of failure, they were in the light. But a real fight and for qualification. Now it all comes down to this, the final stretch. No second chances, no safety net. Every match matters, every moment counts. They are chasing one spot. One ticket, one return to the world stage, and standing in their way, Senegal, Sudan. Strong teams who are disciplined teams. But DR Congo have something different. It's hunger, desperation, and history. And a captain who understands it all. Chancel Member, a leader, a warrior, a player who has lived through failure, who knows the path, who carries the weight of 50 years. This is not just another campaign, this is the moment where everything comes together. The past, the pain, the talent, the belief, and all leading here. One final push, one final chance to break the curse. For DR Congo, this has never been about football. It's identity, it's pride, it's proof. Proof that despite everything, they still belong on the world stage. Qualify for the World Cup would mean everything. For the players, for the fans, for the nation. It would rewrite history, heal wounds, and finally end a 52-year wait. Because the dream never died, it survived through the chaos, through the failure, through the heartbreak, and now it stands on the edge of reality. If you enjoyed this story, join me, Cyrus Fernando, for more incredible football underdog stories from nothing to glory within the FTG universe, and I'll see you soon.